You friends, very happy and healthy morning to all of you. Once again, it's a matter of great pleasure for me to meet you once again, to be with you once again. And today, I'm going to deliver my lecture on the explanation of punishment in kindergarten, written by very well-known and famous Indo-Anglian poetess Kamla Das. So, this lecture is the second part of the discussion on punishment in kindergarten. I have already discussed about Kamla Das, her birth, her education, her married life, her major works, and her contribution to Indo-English literature. So, dear friends, this lecture is very useful for the students of English literature of Hemchandracharya North Gujarat University, BA semester 5, paper number 508, unit number 2. It's my humble request to all the students to keep a notebook and pen to jot down important notes and points for more information. Dear friends, I also request you to use your earplugs for better audio result. Dear friends, in this slide, you can see that very beautiful, very happy picture of little kids or little school children. You can also see in the slide that the little kids are at the picnic spot and it's a sunny day. All the natural objects are there. You can see that in this picture, the little children are enjoying with each other. The happiness you can see on their faces. They are enjoying with their classmates. They are enjoying with the various natural objects like trees and flowers and butterflies and grass and tall trees and clouds and rivers and birds and the open sky. So here in this slide you can see the happy picture of little children at the picnic spot. Dear student, to interrupt you, I want to introduce myself, Dr. Padmaxi Vyas from Department of English from Sri and Srimati P.K. Kochawala Arts College, Patan. So, this poem, The Punishment in Kindergarten by Kamla Das, is divided into three parts, or what we may say, it is divided into three stanzas. In the first part, the poetess discusses how her teacher scolded her at the picnic spot. In the second part, she memorized her schoolmates, her friends, her classmates, laughing at her and making her to weep. In the final part or in the final stanza of this poem, Kamla says that being an adult or being a mature person, now there is no need for her to memorize that bitter experiences, and now she found peace in her adulthood. So, in this slide, you can see that the poem is written in three stanzas, or it is divided into three stanzas, each having different number of lines. The first stanza with 7 lines, the second stanza with 6 lines, and the third stanza with 9 lines. So, you can see that the poem doesn't follow any regular rhyme scheme. Moreover, the theme or the subject matter of the poem is divided into two parts, or the chief theme of the poem is divided into two parts of the poem. The first part, or in the first stanza, or in the first part of the poem, we can see that the description of the painful experience of the kindergarten, or the experience of the sad event, sad incident, painful incident of the kindergarten days is described in the first part of the poem. And the second, the adult's attitude towards life. The adults or the mature attitudes toward life and incident is shown in the second part of the poem. Moreover, as we know that the drama is divided into acts and scenes, in the same way novel is divided into chapters, and in the same way poem is divided into stanzas. So stanzas means a group of lines in a repeated pattern that form a unit in some type of poems. We can also say that a group of lines forming the basic recurring metrical unit in a poem, that's a verse. So here in this poem, the two stages of life are described here. The first stage of very immature and tender and sensitive age, and that is childhood. The second stage, that is a very mature period or mature stage of life, or what we can say that the adulthood, the mature adulthood is described by the poetess in this poem. So look in this slide. The first stanza of the poem is given in this slide for you. So look at the lines of the first stanza. I read from this slide. Today the world is a little more my own. No need to remember the pain. A blue-frocked woman caused throwing words at me like pots and pans to drain. That honey-colored day of peace. Why don't you join the others? What a peculiar child you are. So, in the first stanza, you can see that it starts from the lines, from the words that today the world is a little more my own. So it shows that, it makes it clear that she is going to talk about a past event. It shows that now today the world is a little more my own. Now I have the liberty, I have the freedom, because now the world is my own. No need to worry about the words of my teacher or anybody, because now the world is little more my own. So in this line, we can see that she is going to talk about a past event, incident, and that was not pleasant for her. That was not giving her happiness at all. Here you can see that today the world is a little more my own, no need to remember the pain. In the third line, a blue-frocked woman caused throwing words at me like pots and pans to drain. So the phrase a blue-frocked woman is used for a teacher. She didn't like the behavior or the words of her teacher, and so she used the phrase a blue-frocked woman and caused throwing words at me like pots and pans to drain. So the poet uses ample of symbols like a blue-frocked woman for her teacher, throwing words at me like pots and pans. It is used to make us to feel the intensity of the teacher's word. Moreover, uh, the honey colored here in the line, you can see that the honey colored for the day which was ruined by the harsh word of her teacher. So it was a very funny day, it was a very happy day, merry making. The children are making merry making with each other, very happy with each other at the picnic spot. And the honey colored day, it was a honey colored day, the sunny day, and this honey colored day of peace was spoiled, was ruined by the cruel teacher or by the harsh words of that cruel teacher. While other students were merry making and enjoying with each other, who are playing with each other or playing with together. Now, after many years, she has grown into an adult. Now, she has become a mature person, and she has only a faint memory of the blue-frocked woman and the laughing faces of the children. In this slide, I have also given you the word notes. You can see in the pink words that blue-frocked woman. This phrase is particularly used for the teacher. Throwing words. It means speaking very harshly. And peculiar, it means very strange. Dear friends, in the slide you can see two pics together. One is the picture of a very happy faces of children who are merry making and enjoying with each other at the picnic spot. They are happy with each other. You can see the happiness on their faces. And in the another peak, you can see that the teacher, very insensitive teacher, is scolding to Kamla. She is scolding to that little nursery child. And these two pictures shows the contrast that these children are enjoying with each other, and she also want to enjoy with these children, but the words, the harsh and cruel words of teacher doesn't make her happy. In this slide, look, you can see that second stanza is given in this slide. I will read the line from the poem. On the lawn in clusters sat my schoolmates, sipping sugar can. They turned and laughed. Children are funny things. They laugh in mirth at others' tears. I buried my face in the sun-warmed hedge and smelled the flowers and the pain. So in this second stanza, you can see that on the lawn in clusters sat my schoolmates, and they are enjoying sipping sugar cane. So here the poet says that when the teacher scolded her, the other students who are enjoying the sip of their uh, sugar cane, sipping their sugar cane, they looked or moved towards her, and they started to laugh at her. According to Kamla, the children are funny creatures. Here you can see in this line that children are funny things. They laughed in mirth at others' tears. So here, according to Kamla, the children are funny creatures and they laugh at others' pains, and it is a habit of little children to laugh at the difficulties of others. And they did the same with Kamla, a little nursery child. When she was scolded without realizing how much she was hurt. Being hurt, she hid her face in the sun-warmed hedge. So without realizing the difficulty of a sensitive child, the teacher began to scold Kamla. And she cannot bear the pain of the words, and she buried her face in the sun-warmed hedge and smelled the flowers and the pain at the same time. So here in this stanza you can see that here the poet associates flowers with pain. I think she has tried to compare her childhood, her delicate childhood, her sensitive childhood with the delicate flower, which is quite sensitive and delicate. And thus she wants to convey that this event shook her innocent childhood. So word notes I have already given in this slide. The word mirth means joy. Warmed hedged means a bush on which sunlight falls. So dear friends, in this slide I have given third stanza is given in this slide, and here you can see quite different the solution of the problem which is given in the beginning or in the first two stanzas. Here you can find the adulthood and peace that Kamla feels. So I read from the poem. The words are muffled now, the laughing faces only a blur. The years have sped along, stopping briefly at beloved house and moving sadly on. My mind has found an adult peace. No need to remember that picnic day when I lay hidden by a hedge, watching the still white sun standing lonely in the sky. So in this third stanza, you can see the peace that Kamla feels her adulthood and the solution of her problem she can find in this third stanza. In this final stanza, the poet says that now she is grown up. Now she has become mature enough to understand the reality, the situation, the problems of the world. The memory of that day she has faded away because there is nothing in her childhood to cherish and desire for. She has now found adult peace, and that you can see in this poem that my mind has found an adult peace. No need to remember that picnic day when I lay hidden by a hedge. watching the still white sun standing lonely in the sky. That you can see in that picturization that I have added. So it means ironically be saying again and again, no need to remember her helplessness. In short, this poem represents moving on with life, or in a sense growing up from being immature child towards being mature adult. So you can see that it's a moving up from a child to a adulthood, and that tenderness, that immaturity of a child to a maturity. It's a moving towards maturity of a adulthood, who has understood by the long and various experience of the world and the life after the span of these years. Uh, I have also given the word notes, that muffled means dim, blur, difficult to remember or see, and spat means gone by. So here you can see that in this stanza you can see the years have sped. It means with the passage of time, uh, her adult viewpoint halted the pain, healed the pain. The years have reduced the intensity and harshness of the heartful incidents. The years have gone by very fast. Some incidents close to the heart are remembered, uh, others are forgotten, and this is the reality of life. This is the best way to live the life happy and to lead the life happy. Life moves on. It is the basic rules of life that it's constantly moves on. It's a constant progressive process of nature. It's a constant progressive process of the world, process of the universe. So here in this slide, you can see the major theme and the summary of the poem. So Punishment in Kindergarten is a wonderful poem that tells us about the painful experience of the childhood. The whole poem revolves around a sensitive child, and that is Kamla. It brings out the predicament of a shy, sensitive child when it is rebuked by the teacher and laughed at by her classmates. Moreover, Kamla Das recalls her own childhood when she was a little student in kindergarten. It was a fine picnic day. It was a sunny day. It was a honey day, honey colored day that we can find in stanza first. Being shy and sensitive, she kept alone or aloof from other children. That it's the duty of a teacher to understand the nature of her student, but the teacher didn't try to understand her sensitivity, her problems, and she started to rebuke, she started to scold her without understanding her sensitivity or her problems. So the teacher didn't try to understand her and rebuked her harshly. As she turned, the poetess found her classmate laughing at her. She felt deeply pained, and that was very unhappy event or incident for the poetess Kamla Das. The whole joy of the fine day, the whole joy of the honey-colored day was ruined by the teacher, by the words of the teacher, and she has lost the joy of the fine day. She only hid her in a hedge and looked at the sun. The bright sun appeared to her as lonely in the sky as she herself felt by the side of the hedge. So, main theme of the poem, we can see that the major theme of the poem is nostalgia and the sense of moving on with life, the sense of changing, that is a rule of universe or rules of the life. With the long journey of life, the poetess has learned that life is a mixture of both joy and pleasure, joy and sorrow. Morning is there, evening is there, light or brightness is there, that darkness is also there, the rose is there, then throne is there, sun is also there, then the moon is there. So with the long journey of life, the poetess has learned that life is a mixture of joy and sorrow. The passage of time has taught her many things. She has learnt so many things with the passage of time. Now she is no more a lonely individual as she used to feel when she was a little uh, kindergarten child. Dear friends, in this slide, I have given you certain definition of nostalgia. So here you can see that according to Cambridge Dictionary, it's a feeling of pleasure and also slight sadness when you think about things that happened in the past. Moreover, some people feel nostalgia for their school days, sentimental longing or wistful affection for a period in the past. According to Cullen's English Dictionary, nostalgia is an affectionate feeling you have for the past and especially for a peculiar happy time. I have also described the poetic techniques which are used by Kamla Das to make this poem very beautiful. So you can see the visual imagery that is used in this poem, and that is blue-frocked woman. That blue-frocked woman is used by Kamla for the teacher. Test experience you can see in sipping sugar can, while the other classmates are sipping sugar can. So here you can see the test experience by using the phrase sipping sugar can. You can also find sound imagery in this poem when you see that throwing words like pots and pans to drain. Moreover, I have also mentioned certain metaphors which are used by the poetess to make this poem more beautiful, and these are that honey-colored day. Word image. The poet created images by using hyphenated words like sun-warmed, blue-frocked, still white, honey-colored. The poet has also used personification to make this poet very sweet and beautiful, and that you can see here. The years have sped. So passing years have been personified as something passing. So after the explanation of this poem, Punishment in Kindergarten, now I would like to move towards the conclusion of this poem. And at the conclusion, I would like to say that the poem is a lesson in child psychology. Childhood experience leave a lasting impression on the mind of the little sensitive child. A sensitive child feels hurt when it is laughed at by its classmate or scolded by its teacher. The teacher should make an attempt to help the children. So, childhood experience leaves a lasting impression on the mind of the tender and immature, sensitive heart and soul and mind of the child. A sensitive child feels hurt when she is insulted by teacher and children. If the child gets encouragement and appreciation from her teacher or classmates or friends, its personality is likely to develop. Otherwise, the child is likely to be a social misfit, and the community of teacher is responsible for such misfit of these little children. The poetess found it difficult to adjust herself with the other classmates. So I think it's duty of a teacher to make to make the student feel very comfortable. The teacher made no attempts to help her. Instead of making her comfortable, the teacher scolded her with very harsh words. So she didn't care for the teacher didn't care for the child's individuality. She didn't care for the personal sensitivity of the child, and instead of understanding the sensitivity mind, soul, and tender heart of the little child, she labeled her as a peculiar child. The teacher branded her as a peculiar child, and it's a painful experience of a little child, and that little child is Kamla Das, the poetess herself. So, dear friends, this is all about Kamla's the punishment in kindergarten. I have explained this poem. So, dear friends, this poem is or this discussion is divided into two parts. Don't forget to go through the first part of the discussion about Kamla, her birth, her education, her literary career, and her contribution to English, Indian English literature. Thank you very much, dear friends, for watching this video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe this video. Thanks a lot. Thank you, dear friends.